This is the RNL Revolution Nothing Less show on September 29th, 2023. This is our 167th episode. My name is Andy Z. I'm the host of the show, coming to you from Los Angeles, California. I want to welcome all of our viewers on YouTube and everybody listening as a podcast to the RNL show. Nothing less than a real revolution is what this show is all about. Why we need a revolution, why it's possible, including how to put it on the map, and how to bring forward and prepare a revolutionary people, and what this revolution is for. That is some of what we get into every week on the RNL show. We often speak on the RNL show about winning and winning. Winning a revolution not for revenge, not so the last shall be first, but to emancipate all of humanity. This is an understanding and an orientation, a whole new framework for human emancipation brought forward by the revolutionary leader Bob Avakian, B.A., whose leadership we follow on this show. A framework of a building is the design and the foundation and its supporting beams. The framework for the emancipation of humanity are the cornerstone ideas and ways of thinking about how we could get to a new world where people everywhere could be free of all forms of oppression and exploitation, which has been distilled and concretized in the Constitution for the new Socialist Republic in North America authored by Bob Avakian. And at the core of BA's framework for revolution, for a radically new society on the road to real emancipation, is a scientific approach to understanding and changing the world. It is the method and approach to understanding why the world is the way it is, and then having the principles, the methods, the structure, the organization, and a plan to radically change the world we have inherited. A world dominated by the system of capitalism, imperialism that is heading towards the destruction of life on Earth. One example of the irrational and suicidal horror of this system was revealed just this past week in a report published in the New York Times. And you should know as background that the aquifers, the underground lakes, which contain most of the water needed for life, have been drastically and dangerously drying up in the U.S. over the past decades. Yet, this report revealed that over the past 15 years, the U.S. empire has become #1 in producing oil and gas by fracking. That is a process through which the oil companies take the precious water from the aquifers that people need to live by the trillions of gallons, and then they pump it back into the earth to shake loose the oil and gas, which can then even cause earthquakes. The oil is then burned in engines, heating up the atmosphere and further depleting the water supplies which people, other animals, plant life, and the land itself need to survive. This is a form of collective suicide that is the product of the criminal system we live under, and it is an involuntary suicide for the vast majority of people. So again, winning and winning means being able to win a revolution to overthrow this system, and then winning in the largest sense so that what comes after the revolution is leading to the emancipation of humanity here and all over the world. So with winning and winning a whole new world out of the horrors of today is what we are all about here on the RNL show. I want to welcome you once again to the RNL Revolution Nothing Less show. I want to welcome all of you watching on YouTube and all of you listening on podcasts. And I want to tell you that the co-host of the RNL show, Sansara Taylor, is not going to be with us today, but you will see her later in today's program in an excerpt of a speech she gave at UCLA this past spring. Later in today's program, we're going to feature two segments that offer sharp critiques of two major mental chains that weigh millions of people down, and probably some of you watching to one degree or another. One is with Rafael Cadaris and Sansara Taylor, which goes into woke identity politics, a politics that paralyzes and intimidates decent people from speaking and acting against the very forms of oppression that need to be strongly opposed with the broadest unity. The other is more from the talk that Raymond Lotta gave at Revolution Books in New York on the lies and the distortions of what communism is, its history, and the new communism developed by BA. And these lies are pumped out continuously by media, politicians, professors, all to keep people confined in their thinking to accepting that capitalism and U.S.-style bourgeois democracy are the only way, if not the best way, the world could be. If you've been watching the RNL show weekly, you know that we are fighting for the understanding brought forward by Baba Avakian that we are living in a rare moment, a rare time when revolution has become more possible. And we are urgently on the march to put that revolution on the map this year. People everywhere in this country need to not just see and even despair at the monstrous fascist Republican Party of Trump, with their extreme white supremacy, their patriarchy, xenophobia, their MAGA American First madness, with their determination to rule by undisguised thuggery on the one hand. And they must not, on the other hand, on seeing this, throw themselves into the monstrous arms of the Democratic Party under the cover of the Democratic Party's honeyed words and promises, when this party stands for and enforces that same system, with its murderous brutality and repression against Black, Brown, and Native people, its suppression of the rights of women and LGBTQ people, its continuation of the fossil fuel madness of imperialism, with its security policies that have actually brought the world closer to the danger of nuclear war than at any time in the past 50 years. This is not a choice that anyone with their eyes and conscience open should accept, adjust, or accommodate to. At the RNL show, we bring to you a whole other way, the roadmap to actually prepare for and make a real revolution. And we bring to you, as I said earlier in this commentary, the vision and the concrete plan for a radically new society that is in the Constitution for the new Socialist Republic in North America, written by Baba Avakian. Obviously, all that I'm speaking about are really big ideas and plans and a bit outside the box for you. It's a lot to absorb. There are two documents that I want to highlight for you. The first goes into how we are working now for a real revolution and a whole new emancipating way to live, and it's available on our website, revcom.us, and as a broadsheet, it's titled, We Are the Revcoms, Revolutionary Communists. And the second, also available on revcom.us and as a broadsheet, is a major declaration titled, We Need and We Demand a Whole New Way to Live, a Fundamentally Different System. This declaration concentrates how the Constitution for the new Socialist Republic in North America envisions and spells out how we could bring it to being a society and ultimately a world free from all forms of slavery, exploitation, and oppression based on class, race, sex, and gender, all relations in which one part of humanity is subordinated to and dominated by others. This demand to abolish and dismantle the existing capitalist imperialist system and replace it with the new socialist system can become the demand of millions in the situation that is rapidly unfolding as the sharp divide at the top of society approaches a pivotal moment with the 2024 election. How this demand could really become the demand that millions of people are determined to fight for is something that we will continue to get into every week on this program. The political divide at the top of U.S. society sharpens by the week. This past week, Trump strongly implied that the top commander of the U.S. military, Mark Milley, should have been executed for how he tried to stave off one of Trump's provocations against China. Unheard of.
Here's what Donald Trump said about Joint Chiefs Chairman Mark Milley, denouncing Milley for the U.S. troop withdrawal against Afghanistan, while also taking on Milley's record and suggesting that general would have been put to death.
And then he posed at a gun shop for a picture to buy a gold Trump Glock. Both actions stoking the fascist base for violence and even civil war. And last week saw Biden working to shore up dangerous U.S. war blocs around the world against Russia and China. God damn, this is but one reason why Baba Avakian has said,
we can no longer afford to allow these imperialists to dominate the world and to determine the destiny of humanity. They need to be overthrown as quickly as possible.
Look, what is crucial to understand is this from a soon-to-be-published strategic statement on revcom.us, quote, when conflicts among the different sections of the bourgeois capitalist ruling class become so deep and hostile that they are no longer able to rule in the normal way they have for generations, that is a sign of extremely deep and acute cracks and fissures in the entire established order. And such a situation must be seized by the oppressed, not to side with one section of the bourgeoisie against another, but instead to rise in revolutionary struggle to overthrow the rule of the bourgeoisie altogether, end quote. For that to happen, we have to be organizing and recruiting now for the revolution to do just that. So, before moving on to the rest of our program, I want to share this TikTok from the Revolution Club in Chicago.
We are the Revolution Club Chicago, and we're the ones that burned the American flag at Jason Aldean's concert in Tinley Park.
5, 6, 7, 8, America was never great.
We're the ones that tried it in a small town where Jason Aldean filmed his music video in Columbia, Tennessee.
The Illinois State Rifle Association just awarded Jason Aldean a lifetime membership. They said that Jason Aldean's song, Try That in a Small Town, represents what they've been fighting for the last 120 years.
Jason Aldean's video brings back what the small towns done in the past, with Emmett Till.
That fascist wannabe thug, Jason Aldean, and the Illinois National Rifle Association fit perfectly together.
Jason Aldean video is a pro-lynching fascist recruitment tool.
And this gun rights organization evidently wants to recruit people who like this message.
But we're recruiting too. We're recruiting people who want to stand up to this fascist violence as part of making revolution.
No more lynch mobs in and out of uniform. No more standing by while good old boys prepare for civil war. We need and we demand a whole new way to live. We need to, and we are, getting organized for a real revolution. Get with the RevComs.